the burden she gave me was to tell what I know. She didn't tell me what to say other than the world needs to know that we're real. They're going to wake us up.
What's the message for us around this? There's a lot of people that don't trust NASA. A lot of people that think NASA is keeping things from us. What do you have to say about that?
I have been into the most secure facilities on Earth.
Hi, everyone. This is Holly Hall from the Holly Hall Show. And I am so excited today. I have Chris Bledsoe. He has written the book, and he was just explaining to me that he's got to rewrite it again in all these different languages because it's become that popular. I found him on Regina Meredith's show, which you guys can all find on Gaia TV, but I also follow her on YouTube, and that's where she was interviewing him. We're going to be talking about that too. I want to ask Chris, what is the difference between aliens or angels or guides? I super encourage you guys to read his book, UFO of God. I found it on Audible. To be honest with you, I'm not a big book reader, so I'm a big YouTuber and following. I feel like I know you, Chris, because I've seen so many of your interviews because I started researching you. And then honestly, you've got to read this book. I couldn't stop. Like, I was listening to it as I was driving, as I go on my walks and my hikes and everything, and I couldn't stop. Like, I'd go on a 2-hour hike because I was like, I got to keep listening to this. What's going to happen next? It's so exciting, but it doesn't come without its pain and its angst. And I want my audience to really see that fame and having a mission and a purpose like Chris has been given is not always easy. I got so many questions for you, Chris. I don't know where I'm going to start. But first, I'd like you to give the audience sort of a Reader's Digest version of what does UFO of God mean and how did that happen to you?
Thank you for having me, Holly. I'm honored. I've had a lifelong journey, I might say, that has been bizarre and strange, with a lot of injuries and being shot in the back with a shotgun, to breaking my back or spine, fracturing my spine. I didn't break it, but I fractured it. And there's much more. And I just had to draw closer to the heavens to try to figure out, why me, Lord? Why is all these bizarre things happening to me? Is something trying to end my life? Am I not supposed to be here? Is there something I'm supposed to do one day? I used to think this as a little kid, catching fire at 2 years old. If my grandfather hadn't gotten me, I'd have probably not been here or in a lot worse shape today. But in 2007, it's January the 8th of 2007, is the reason, the title for the book. I was at the bottom of my barrel, you might say. I was ready to give up on life. I had dealt with Crohn's disease, and for 17 and a half years, extremely sick. So bad that, Crohn's is an intestinal disease, stomach problems. And I was during that time in 04, 03, 02, 05, I was in the bathroom 20 times a day. It was that bad, debilitating, unable to work. I'd get up to go to work, and 5 minutes later, I'm back at the house. And so the last 2 years before we sold our company in 05, I was bedridden. And so I'd lost everything I had all my life. I had been a builder for 20 years or more, building 100 homes a year, anywhere from starting out at 40 and 50, going upwards of 100, 130. Pretty consistent. And the World Trade Center disaster put a nail in my coffin in a military town. It shut the building business down. And long story short, fast forward to 07, I was thinking the unthinkable ready to give up, unable to work, unable to buy my children's school lunches. I had to apply for free lunch and living in $1 million home, right? That's how bad it got. So I was crying out to the heavens, and it had been for weeks. Lord, what I do? So my whole life had turned into basically a conversation with God, whoever that is, and I felt like nobody was listening. So that day, I'd take my son fishing and two, three other guys that had worked for us. Sorry. And I wasn't fishing. I was walking along, just meditating, crying out in pain and wanting relief. I don't want to live anymore. These are things I was saying, but I love my wife and children, and I don't ever want to lose them. Help me. What do I do? And had no idea these three big fiery, some call them UFOs. And that's why I put that title in there. But I was crying out to God. I wasn't crying out to aliens. I mean, who'd ever
No.
think? Why would an alien care about what I think and about me crying out for help? Lord, help me. Why would an alien? So it never computed with me. I've never had an alien experience. I've never seen or been taken by flying saucers.
Did you
There
ever
were
think about aliens? Did you believe in aliens?
no, I didn't
No,
believe
I
in.
wouldn't think so.
The heavens opened up, or the UFOs came, but they were balls of fire, three of them, and three is a big number. Always
Yeah.
three, always. On the cover of my book, you'll see this orb. It's on the front with three dots in it. We've seen those orbs just like that all the time, and with the dots, believe it or not, inside one particular night, one was hovering over the house about 20 feet around, and it had those three dots in it. But yeah, I was crying out to whoever's up there, and these three fiery balls came, and when they took me for 4 hours and brought me back, I had no more Crohn's disease. It was gone. And today I drink coffee, I eat and drink anything I want. I've never taken medicine for it ever again. I mean, totally about face change. And that's when you would have thought that everyone would have been happy for me. But being from a religious community and part of the country, all of a sudden hell set in. I come home talking about these UFOs that saved me. They were unidentified, right? But they were like the chariots of fire you hear about in the Bible. But no, they didn't want any part of that. It was this devil himself, and I was not good for my family, my children. They were interfering with my wife and my family, almost like to get them away from me. And they were bringing holy water to my house, and so then it got worse. It got worse, Holly. I mean, and the book spells it all out.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. It's horrible. And then, it goes to show you that location, 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 because as soon as you found your people that also had experiences similar or in tandem that you had, your whole world opened out.
yeah, it, it
Met
was
new people.
actually, yeah, it was actually the government that opened my world up. And that was a nightmare.
Very disappointed in MUFON.
Yeah, but they tried to debunk the whole thing, and it backfired on them. Vindication, that's what he
Yeah.
told me. Yeah, and it was quite the total opposite disaster into my family. To where now, not only was the church and all, and several churches giving me a hard time, but the whole community now, and they labeled me crazy. Everything in the book, and so and MUFON had created this fear in our family about the government. They'll kill you. The men in black, they'll come and they'll shoot you, kill you, destroy you. You can't talk about it. And so the first scientist that showed up at my house was NASA. And all of a sudden, my whole family's afraid that, we're in trouble because the government's come. But it turned quite the opposite. to where they were the only ones that were here to help. They made
Yeah.
my friend Hal Pavenmeyer. He loved my family and children. He was from NASA, and he went next door to my mom's and dad's and said, "Look," pulled his badge out and said, "I'm from NASA. Your son's telling the truth. You have to listen to him." And it was that kind of thing that kept happening over the years by government people that vindicated me and basically to the whole world now. I mean, they're behind me. The CIA is. I'm very close friends. I got a call with some of them tomorrow. Uh, just wonderful people that have come out. But when I came home, the phenomena followed me home and began to appear inside the house, all over above the house, out in the yard. My wife and children were seeing it with me, and at that time in my life, I could never get a photo of it or share a picture of it or anything. My children, except with my family, and then it progressed into me being able to film it and have a conversation and a connection and interaction with the phenomena. I mean, Contact, you hear the movie Contact, or you hear these guys on TV. Oh, I'm a whistleblower. I saw a UFO. Big deal. We're communicating with them. We're seeing them. We're filming them, and we do it
Yeah.
with dozens and dozens of people, along with government officials. So you don't hear much about that. We've been quietly studying it for 15 years, 16 years, and I have amassed
Oh, I
thousands,
know. Yeah.
thousands of videos and eyewitnesses, and it's we're the most studied case in the world, in history, from the government and from the academic world, because it's ongoing and we can film it most anytime we want.
So you were taken away for about 4 hours. You calculated. You don't remember those 4 hours. You've seen these beings. They're globes of sorts, right? Orbs.
Yeah,
But they telepathically communicate with you. You've
yeah,
seen the lady, which you see once a year around Easter, right? It
yeah.
seems to
Well,
be consistent that way.
that or her spirit in some form or another, yes. And in fact, I honestly think that I'm about to go on a quest. If you read in the book, you'll read about Utah, to where I wrote about Utah, and that's
Yeah.
kind of where I believe that um, I need to go there, or the Four Corners area, the Southwest, but Utah specifically. I think I'm gonna get to introduce her in a much bigger way through camera
To the world.
uh, to the world.
To the
Yeah,
world.
yeah. Because in Fatima, she came to the little children of Fatima, and then nobody believed her. The children. What did the mother say? October 13th at such and such a time, tell everybody to come out and we're going to prove them wrong. And that's what she did. She appeared to 80,000 people. So I think there's a good chance that we might get to use technology and she might get to give us a message. So that's my
And have a
next.
live audience. 'Cause
Yeah.
you can get the word out so much more now, and you can
Yeah.
have more people than just a town of Fatima come and see it.
Right.
It'll be the whole world would fly
Yeah.
there to come and see this. What's the message for us around this?
Well, it is the burden she gave me was to tell what I know. She didn't tell me what to say, other than the world needs to know that we're real. They're going to wake us up, and there's going to be a new way about looking at humanity and about, for example, evolution. They're teaching that nonsense in school and have been for many, many years, and how that's the worst lame excuse anyone can have to say,
I know.
evolution, an automobile can make itself, or any living thing or anything can make itself if there's enough time. millions and millions of years, this elephant can poof itself into existence. And simply the lamest answer, because they have no clue. They have no clue. They're not
Mhm.
willing to address the possibility of a mind that created this race and all these living things. And I think that's what we're going to wake up to. There is a real force around us, real living beings that most likely created us all. So
There's a small group of scientists that know that uh, that Darwin evolution, it might exist in some species, but it doesn't for us. That's for sure.
it's completely ridiculous, because what's going to happen? What we're living in a wireless world, wireless communication. We just discovered it. The creators that created us communicate to our system, our body, this whole planet in wireless ways. For example, I'm
Yes.
privy of a study from NASA, and I have the papers. I have sat in on some of these meetings, at least one, to where we know that the DNA is transmitting a signal to space on a 156 megahertz range, radar range. There's a radar frequency, meaning it sends a signal out and it's pinging something, and something's coming back. The light, the green light, this is from NASA, not from me. The green light, which is the center of the color spectrum. Trees are green, grass is green, everything's green, right? Why? Because the light that shines on our earth is at such an angle that it casts a green light onto everything. Hence the aurora borealis. It's green, right? Mostly green.
Yeah.
Green light shines upon chlorophyll or ADT, which is in plants, or hemoglobin, which is same thing in humans. All the encoding from that conscience, that creator, is coming through that green light and instantly tells the chlorophyll, okay, activate, start growing, and it gives it all the instructions of how to grow up and be a
Mhm.
plant and create fruits and vegetables and acorns and trees and leaves. And the same with you and I. This information is coming through that green light, and I have the study on it for NASA, and there's plenty of other videos you could probably look up about this. But yeah, there's an intelligent design. We're just now figuring it out, and that's going to be a huge awakening for this world to rewrite the history books and the textbooks and try to start like babies, trying to figure all this out. We're like toddlers with nothing but diapers on, attempting to climb Mount Everest on our own. That's where we
That's very well said.
are.
The information's already out there, but mainstream, they won't change the textbooks. Some of them already know, teachers, professors of science, they know that there's advances in
Yeah.
our knowledge, but to change all the textbooks and education and the teachings is just too much for them. They just want to keep with the status quo, right? They want to make us good little soldiers, and then just grow up and be consumers, basically. But so when do you think that this event is going to happen? I know what it says in the book, but I'm going to ask you if it still remains the same.
Well, I think it's happening now in a slow motion way. Nothing happens like everybody thinks, oh my God, the end of the world. We're going to wake up one day and here it is. But that's not the way this
Yeah.
works.
No,
It is
it's already
it's a
happening.
long,
The end in the beginning.
yeah, the slow motion type thing, train wreck over periods of time. We get to those points, but yeah, it's happening now.
When do
And
you think the lady will appear? Like you had mentioned in Fatima, and you said in Utah that this is where you believe that this will happen. When do you believe that event will happen?
what could happen early tomorrow, next month, or next week? And I'm feeling that pull now more than ever to do this. And in fact, I'm researching. I'm doing the logistics now to find a way out there, maybe a camper, and stay for weeks and weeks until I achieve what it is I'm looking for. And this is no new thing. I've been saying this for 5 years now that I'm going to Utah. And but the lady, when I met her, the first time. It was actually the second time. When she gave me this strange alignment, she said, when the red star of Regulus appears on the horizon just before dawn, in the gaze of the Sphinx, there'll be at that point a new knowledge that will permeate this planet. What does that mean? I don't know exactly. I have no clue. I have an idea what it means. But
The red star of what?
Regulus. But when I told my literary agent friend, Lisa Hagen, she lives up in Virginia, I told her about this, what I was told. And she actually reached out to some of her authors that are in astrology, and they ran the uh, star charts, and it comes out to be Easter of 2026. And so we're being featured on the History Channel on Beyond Skinwalker Ranch. And the episode that we're in is we're on the last episode, and it'll be August 1st. It may be one more after that, and I may be on that one. I'm not sure yet. But I would say be sure to tune into this if you want to see something totally unseen before. It's going to open a lot of eyes when they see this show. Let's just say that there's been a lot of ghost hunting shows and a lot of paranormal shows for the last 30 years. You might see a EF meter or hear a voice or see a little orb in a house or something fly by, but they'd never seen anything like. Yeah, and keep in mind, I've documented this in such a profound way. There's nobody has the amount of evidence that I have. Not even close. Nobody on the planet. Nobody. And this is known by the science and the circles and the people I'm dealing with, I'm friends with, and it's not physical aliens in a flying saucer. I've never seen or experienced that.
No, you've not seen that. You've seen
They,
you've seen little people though.
oh, well, listen, the orbs are entities, beings. They're angelic or celestial beings. I have video of orbs appearing in front of me 5 feet away with a lady on my right and a lady with cancer on my left arm. And while praying for her, she was afraid she was going to die. She had stage 4 lung cancer. 15 people there in my yard by asking in prayer for her. An orb appears about 6 foot away, maybe 5 to 6, maybe 7 foot, guessing. Face eye level, it approaches us, always spinning. They're always rotating, no matter if they're tiny or big as a house. And it flew right up to me and flashed. And when it flashed, and I've seen this more than one time, but I've recorded it. Out of this orb steps a 6.5, 7 foot tall glowing white being right in front of me, and it moves to my left in front of this lady next to me. And when she goes in for her scan on Monday, she has no more cancer. I reported this to MUFON in 2007, or that it was actually, I reported it in October of 07, but I never would allow them to my house until February of 08. And they asked me, what do you think this was? I said, angels. I was praying. I was on the river crying out, God, I wanted to die. I won't call in on aliens or nothing like that. I never thought of such. I was crying out to heaven, help me. And these balls of fire came and took me away for 4 hours and brought me back, and I wasn't sick anymore. And to this day, I do the same thing. I walk out and I say a prayer, and here they come. And we film them, sometimes 35, 40 a evening, sometimes ground level, sometimes 5 feet away they come. I had one this last week, flashed way up in the sky, and next time it flashed, it's 150 feet up. Next time it flashed, it was in the tops of the trees. And the third time it was 10 feet over my head, and a friend from Charlotte had come as witnesses. And that's how they interact. I mean, it's not something that doesn't, I mean, it really changes people. What's important, Holly. And I tell this to people all the time. I get all these folks that write me, and people get in this mindset they're the Pleiadians, or they're the Arcturians, or they're the Galactic Federation,
The
and all
reptilians.
this. Yeah, all this. And they're as far removed from what it is they're trying to get to interact with them.
What do we do? Give us a secret.
Well, it's humble yourself and understand that they're spirits. They're not aliens. There may be aliens. I'm not saying they're not. I'm sure there probably is stuff like that out there. I haven't experienced that. They come, and it's like the Bible says, the angels are ministering spirits, that they're here to minister and watch over humanity, watch over all life. They watch over the wildlife. Look at Ezekiel in his book where he writes about his angelic encounter. I mean, what does he see? Two cherubim land, and he walks between them. And what steps out? Not just a human, but a human with four faces. There was an ox, there was an eagle, and there was a lion. So what does that mean? Why do the Egyptians have animals on their as their gods? Right? They'll have little feathers on their heads, depicting angelic beings, always. So they knew, and we've just been, we're lost. We're lost. This whole humanity has been lost. And it's time that we get back to the truth and to God. If we're going to save this world from the turmoil and the peril that it's in, it can easily be done. I think that will open us up to a new world, and all this
There's
darkness
so much
fade.
There's so much darkness, there's so much suffering. It's unsurmountable. Like, it's unbelievable what
Hell.
happens on this earth.
I think we're in hell, if there is such a thing.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know if I should say that to you. I've said this since I was a little kid, because I was born and raised Roman Catholic. And then I kind of denounced it because I started not believing in the books and the texts. And, there's stuff that's going on in the Roman Catholic Church that's not that great either.
Right.
So I was starting to doubt my religion because I was basing it on the people that were delivering it to me. But I'd always said, this is hell. Like, this can be heaven too. Earth is heaven. People are hell. In
the book of Job, where it starts out by saying, and the adversary, that's a current term created just, a couple thousand years ago. We're talking eons, right? The Bible says that, and Lucifer went up to heaven to talk to God, to report to him. And he said, where have you been? What's going on with you? He said, you know where I've been. I live on earth. I create havoc upon mankind.
Yeah.
And
he
said, busy. I go to and fro throughout the earth creating havoc, right? And so that's pretty much points the way to where we're living in a place that you can lose your soul here. And I think the real world is around us. I think that the people that have gone on, my dad, your grandparents, or family members, loved ones, are just watching us from the eternal world or the real world. I have thousands of pictures of orbs around us, lots of them with dogs and animals and people in them. Clear, you can see them in the orbs. I take ground level. I mean, I have a ton of this stuff, and so you can't not see it. And it tongue ties people who try to have explanations. So, and I can get these at any time, pretty much any time I want to. Hundreds in one, or even thousands in one camera shot. But I focus more on not on still photography, but actual physical videos because
Mhm.
and the ones that are coming from up here, they come down, and they're the ones looking after us. I feel sure. This planet.
I'm so glad you explained that to me. One of the questions I was going to ask you is what the difference is between aliens and angels, because clearly in your book, even though it says UFO of God, this is more of an angelic, higher being, higher power, and definitely not aliens.
Absolutely. But
But
people got to understand the reason I put that UFO there was to let people decide on their own. I don't try to convince anybody what it is you're seeing
yeah,
or what it is I'm seeing. I
yeah.
keep that close to me, and I'll mention it like to you. But people have to figure on their own, through their own sufferings and their own journeys, what it is they want to believe in. And it's, to me, it's not a belief, it's a knowing, because I interact with it. I talk to it. It talks to me. I have proven contact. We have this. We have it. They know us. Is Jeff Kripal, a friend of mine. He's a famous scholar. He calls it telepathy through prayer, right? But whatever it is, they listen, they hear me, and I've probably gotten 3 nights this week, close to 50 videos in 3 nights. With some of them, one of them is going to be on the History Channel. It was so amazing. They're like, "Oh my God, can we use that?" They were here in February, and now they're putting something in that I took, and that's to show that it just didn't happen in February when they were here. It's ongoing; it never stops. So
I'm excited that they're on board, and then because the History Channel can be, I stopped watching that because I'm like, you guys aren't showing the real history. You guys aren't always showing what's the truth. There's a lot of people that don't trust NASA. A lot of people that think NASA is keeping things from us, not giving us the technology that we could have, that they're lying to us. What do you have to say about that?
I have been into the most secure facilities on Earth. Nothing is more secure than mission control at NASA, or launch control, they call it, in Cape Canaveral. Nothing. Not even the White House. They stand there with machine guns at the door when you walk in. I've been in those places. I've been in the astronaut crew quarters where only 300 people in the world have ever been. Only one U.S. president and not one senator has ever been in this place, but yet I have. Why? Why did they do that? Um, it's of my belief that only one or two or three people at NASA, maybe more, but I don't think there's more than this. Just you can count on one hand that knows the truth or knows that it's real. Others may think it, but the heads of NASA, that when you call in and you ask them, they're telling you what they know because they're not privy to the information. You
They only
see,
know
they don't.
their compartment.
That's it. And
Yeah.
so there's a very few people on this planet that is involved in this, and I happen to know at least three of them out of probably a half a dozen, and they're in the National Reconnaissance Office, NRO. That's a secret group that was totally secret until a few years ago. But what does that mean? They have their eyes on the sky. They own all the satellites that are over this earth. They own all the spy planes. And when it's seeing something up there, not even the people flying the machines get privy of what these cameras are seeing. The guys on the ground, just that few I'm talking about, see it all. They control it. Watching what appears around it, and trust me, every time almost something appears and checks it out. Make sure it's not hostile, not loaded with weapons and all this kind of thing. Because if it is, something might happen to it, and has in the past. That's I'll leave that at that.
I'm good that I okay, I have to ask these what you're saying is phenomenal to me. So now we're going into space. We've got all of these other planets. We have other galaxies. The universe, as universe, it just keeps expanding. We have other suns, and they've already Kepler has already proven that Kepler's in the other galaxy taking pictures of what could be inhabited planets,
Right.
according to the light on there. So has these beautiful beings created other planets with entities like similar to us?
Well, I would say if I answered that in either way, it would be total speculation. And
Mhm.
I don't like to guess at anything, which a lot of
Mhm.
people, that's what they do. They got all these theses, postulating theses about, and then people start believing this, right? They make a comment and all of a sudden this for sure. But I think that life is, I think there's what we call the universal creation of life, that it is in the fabric and it's in everything. And it's probably throughout this whole universe and others. I don't know. I could not tell you.
Yeah,
I'm focused more on this planet and this
yeah,
earth and what's here and what I'm experiencing and documenting. And let's just say there have been three congressmen at my house, three, and all three have experienced things. And so imagine how far up the chain that goes. You know what I'm saying? It's they all are ready to reveal that we're not alone. But what is it? They don't know. I don't think the government knows. I'm telling what it is they don't know how to tell, because they know it's conscience based.
yeah.
They know it's based on consciousness, not some physical alien with a ray gun and a flying saucer coming from some. Maybe that's happened, but it's not in my purview. It's not any of my information that I've developed over 16 years of documenting this. 16 years. That's two PhDs in documenting this
Well
phenomenon.
put. That is
Greater
2 P.
than anybody, other maybe than the government, but they came to me. NASA came to me, and I'm like, why are you here? First off, my family's afraid of the government. Why are you here? Why do you need me? Why? You got rockets, you got the biggest telescopes, you got the space
Right.
station, you got all that. Why do you need to bother some country boy in North Carolina? And the first thing they looked at me and said, we see it, we know it's real, but it has zero to do with us. It's very elusive and it don't talk to us, but we know it talks to you. And we'd like to study that. We'd like to know why it's talking to you. And if you would just stay out of the UFO world and stay away from those places where people have all these ideas, don't taint your experience with others, because sometimes you'll get somebody that, and it happens all the time, ask me to stay out of those places and just let them study me and in its innocent form without any outside interference. So that drew me away from those places. And for most of my 16 years, I've been
So
quiet.
that indicates, since they say they haven't spoken to us, they don't come that close to us, that they
Right.
haven't studied aliens in Roswell, and they haven't had clear contact with them as rumors have it amongst the alien community.
Well, I
They
can't.
haven't had that experience. So yours is the closest experience that they've had to other beings that are watching over us, basically.
Well, maybe that's what was indicated to me, but you never know what they're doing. But I know that the proof's in the pudding. If it wasn't of value to them, they wouldn't be at my house 13 hours away from
Oh,
Cape Canaveral,
no.
right?
No.
They
Yeah.
they wouldn't even think twice. They continue doing what they're doing, and I would be the I'm a shot. I'm a loose cannon for them, basically. Um, but I don't tell everything at all. I keep it to myself. But it's time for the world to know, and the government's beginning to tell it, and they just don't know how. They don't know how to say that it's conscience based, that it's spiritual. What does
Mm.
spiritual mean? When you say it's a spiritual experience, well, there's spirits. It's not like some guy come out and landed and got out with a suit on and a gun in his hand and said, "I'm from Mars, show me your leader."
It's an
These are
energy.
It's an energy. It's a ball of light. It's a spirit. There's a creative. There's a being in that ball of light. Sometimes more than one. And I have pictures of them where there are 2 and 3 in one orb, looking at me, back at me as I'm taking their picture.
Mm-hmm.
So I had this orb come out of the sky at Easter of 2019. The spirit of the lady, right? Her energy came
And
out
that's
of the sky. It's in the book.
yeah.
And this is when everything changed. This got everyone's attention, by the way. It was Easter of 2019. I got up to go outside, which I do every night of my life, and it was late, dark already. And when I opened the back door, my back door is only 6, 8 feet from the water. We live on a pond in a little cabin, my wife and I. And when I opened that back door, I look straight up, and this orb just appears several hundred feet up, starts flashing, flashing, flashing radically. And I knew it saw me. I knew it was coming because they do that often, but they don't often land, right? This thing come out of the sky spiraling while rotating, came through the tops of the trees on the far side of my pond, got to the ground, to the bank on the other side, and stopped. And I'm like, oh my God, it's coming. It's fixing to get really exciting here. So I just dropped to my knees. I said, I'm not afraid. Come, I'm here. Just keep me safe. This orb then started coming to me. And it came to within 25 feet of me on the bank and stopped. Now this thing is going up and down 10 feet in the air like this. And I could see that it was inside of a translucent tall figure, 7, 8 feet tall at least. You can see his, just like the predator you see in the movies. That's what they look like when they come out of the orb. The orb is now inside of this figure. It's like the video I have. When the orb came, it flashed. Now here's a 6, 7 foot tall white figure, and the orb's inside of him, right? So it converts from an orb to a full-blown being walking around us.
So it's like this holographic form comes out of its light.
The orb. And the orb is now inside of this form. And I'm looking at it, and I take my cell phone, and I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't keep my eyes off of it. And this is going to be it. So I found video. I actually went to the button, I found it, and I forgot to hit record. But for 9-10 minutes, I'm sitting there, and it's jumping up and down. I'm thinking I'm recording it, right? And then
I've done that.
When I finally got my brain back with all this happening in front of me, I looked up and said, oh my God, I didn't hit record. So when I hit the button record, immediately it went and it sucked out of sight. Darkness, total darkness.
It did not want to be recorded.
But not in the glory that it was in. So suddenly, flash. So for the next 18 minutes, I filmed this orb over my pond 25 feet away for 18 minutes, sitting there, and it would come on and it would go off. And I walked out on my pier. I got within 15 feet of it. It would come on, it would go off. But the crazy thing was, I went in totally exhausted and passed out. I was sick real bad at that point, taking chemotherapy and all that then. But I was exhausted. You would have thought I wanted to tell the world, but I passed out. When I got up the next morning, this energy, which I believe was the lady, put the knowledge in my head to warn the people. She said, tell the people trouble's coming, to lock your doors and pack your store up and stay inside. So immediately I'm like, 2019. I said, oh my God, I got on the phone, and I hadn't done an interview in 8 years. I got on the phone and I called everybody I knew. I need to do an interview. So I did Richard Dolan, Jimmy Church, a whole host of people. And I began to tell what this spirit told me that, and I stopped short of saying the lady. I let people figure that out on their own. But I said, I was told there's trouble coming to store up. And believe it or not, it was COVID-19. And undoubtedly around Easter, it had already been released,
Yep.
or they knew it was about to be released from that factory, and they came and warned us. Well, let me tell you, that got the attention of some of the highest authorities in the land, that I knew this. And I did it 10, 11 interviews telling this before it ever came in early 2020. But it was already running rampant in 2019. It said a whole lot more, and I'll stop short of that. The book tells it. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing to me, the whole experience.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being that vessel for us. And you're obviously going to continue to be that vessel for us. I have one last question. Why did they create us?
Well, I don't know that at all. But I think we're just part of a chain of life. I don't think we're any more special than the alligators in Florida to the turtles in New York, or the deer out in California or Colorado or in my backyard. I think we're all special under the eyes of creation, or under God, whatever. I'm not a religious person anymore. I grew up that way. My wife's Pentecostal holiness. Her family is Pentecostal, and they're very strict. I'm closer to God, to the heavens, than I have ever been, but I'm not in the
Yeah.
church like I
Mhm.
used to be. They told me I couldn't ever talk about it. If I intended to go to church, I had to drop this whole thing. And I'm like, sorry. I was talking to God, not the devil, when he came in the form of three balls of fire.
Yeah.
Always three. And what does that three represent? In all forms of religion, the triad, or the Trinity.
Yep. Yep. Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
There you go. And
Or
that
I also wrote down body, mind, and soul.
yeah, could be. You can buy the book through an Amazon link there, but you
Yep.
can also find my Instagram, uh, social media stuff, Facebook and all. And I post a few videos on Instagram, probably 50 or 60 out of thousands. I have a new camera called a Psionics. I got it 2 years ago, and I just checked recently on my Psionics app alone. And this is what it looks like, a little Psionics. This is the app firing up.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you this. These are nightly. Each group of these are one night. This is July the 12th. See, there's four. Well, anyhow,
In your
this is number
backyard.
yeah, this is number one of 2,387 videos.
Oh my.
2,387 videos in 24 months. So that's well over 1,150 a year. And these are orbs that are interacting and communicating. And so it's a beautiful.
They seem very excited to be with you and be around you and go through you. It seems like they're so excited that this is something they've been waiting for a long
Yeah.
time. The energy has been waiting for a long time. That's the impression that I'm getting, that they're just coming over and over again, like, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready.
Yeah.
um, I'm just going to say one final thing before we end. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope I'll be able to interview you again, maybe 6 months or a year from now. Humans don't seem to stop doing things unless there's a consequence.
Right.
We're going to do this. We're going to stop doing this because the consequence is more brutal than the advantage. And even the most cruelest things, that if there's not really serious consequences. And I've always hoped, and ever since I've been watching you, I've always hoped that somehow these orbs, these spirits, the lady will come and tell us what the consequence is.
Yeah.
But if you do this damage to other people and to the earth and harm people, the consequence is this.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I don't know if you know what that is, but I hope they give us that message.
I stopped short of doing that. But really, I don't like to give people want to know what it is. What's the prophecy? That's not me. That's not my job in this. Is just to introduce the phenomenon to the world and let you figure out what it is to you. If you want it to be a Pleiadian, then that's fine if that's what you want. But at least I want people to know that it is real and I've documented it, and here it is on camera, live for you to see.
Mhm.
There's not any doubt in it, and that's my deal. That's what I want to do, is just to let people figure it on their own and realize that we're not alone, that there's a mind out there that not only created them but created us as well. We didn't come from some amoeba 10 billion years
The
ago
Big
that
Bang?
it turned into every living thing on earth. This is an uneducated answer from people that's supposed to be smart. They just don't have a clue. So they use that lame excuse rather than try to really ponder the real. But we're fixing to change that. And we are. We're changing that very fastly.
Thank you so much. I agree with you. Up to you how you do that. But when people ask me, how do you get all this information? I tell them, I don't know. I don't have an answer. Why do I look at the map of the sky and I say things that resonate so strongly with you? You got tears in your eyes. I
Yeah.
have no clue where this comes from. I just know it exists.
Yeah. It's there and we're all connected to it. We all
Mhm.
have these psychic abilities. Um, we've been suppressed and suppressing that, I think, for so long that we've lost that ability. But it's coming. The knowledge is coming, and
Yeah, I'm excited.
yeah, it's coming.
I'm so excited. Thank you for your time, Chris. Chris Bledsoe. You can find you. All you have to do is YouTube his name, and you're going to see tons and stuff. Google it. You're going to see tons of information. Go to his Instagram. You have to buy his book, his audio book, his physical book. It will change the power. It will shift an energy within you that will open up your soul and open up your mind to looking at life a lot differently. I wish you would sell 8 point whatever billion books, which meant every single person reads your book. So glad that I found you. And I can share this with my audience, and hopefully you and I will connect again in several months from now.
Thank you, Holly. I appreciate you.